We have with us here in Premium Times studio Mr. Iboro Otu, the governorship candidate in Akwa Ibom State of the African Action Congress. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Straight to the business of the day. Permit me to say your party is not as strong as PDP, AAC, for instance, in Akwa Ibom. How do you hope to win the governorship election in Akwa Ibom?
I believe, and as we can see with the latest happenings in the state and country, that Nigerians and Akwa Ibom people want to make a decision based on issues and not political parties. So people are now standing behind people that they believe are credible, can perform, and have a history of performance. With this, we can build parties because political parties and winning elections is about structures, and structures are made of people. So we are doing that every day. We are growing from the ward to the unit level, and the numbers are increasing. I mean, even though it's not my party that performed last week, we could see over 700,000 people showed up. The whole idea here is to let people see and understand that times have come for change, and people want to be more involved in governance, and they want to see greater things happen. They want to prosper. There's a lot of hunger in the land. There's a lot of issues, security issues, job issues that have transcended issues of political parties or zoning. And we are banking on this. We are depending and hoping on Akwa Ibom people, especially young people who are suffering this brunt of unemployment, lack of access to credit, good education, lack of access to healthcare, and lack of access to jobs, great jobs, to come out and vote in numbers. And when you see the numbers of registered voters in Akwa Ibom State, we are very confident that we will be able to score to win. So the whole thing here is that the elections we used to know before, things have totally changed, and 2023 is the opportunity for us to score big goals. Remember, INEC has also, the rules of the game has changed. There's a lot of digitization in the system when it comes to accreditation and transmission of results, and this will take away this issue of ballot snatching and all sorts of other ills that used to happen on election day. But beyond that, like you say, traditionally elections is about people, it's about numbers, and we are doing really well.
Does your party, AAC, has candidates in all the positions like Senate, House of Representatives, House of Assembly, state constituencies in Akwa Ibom?
Yes, we do. We have 70% of the positions. But then remember, there's a lot of coalition happening here. So I can confidently say in all the positions in all this state, like we have 2 Senate candidates. In the House of Reps, we have about 8 or 11. I think, I'm not sure. And in the House of Assembly, out of the 18 that we're supposed to have, I think we have 18. I'm not really very certain about the numbers yet, but the list is out, and of the 40, because in total there's supposed to be 40 candidates, including the governor. We've covered about 65 to 70%. So
Okay. So now, I just heard you say use the word coalition. I mean, are you going into partnership with any political party?
So a lot of political parties have approached us that they want to work with us. They want me to be their governorship candidate of choice because of what we stand for. So what this means is that we will be prioritized in the voting arena. I did this before in 2019. 17 political parties stepped down for me at the time. This is happening again this time around. So what naturally happens is that we and our candidates are prioritized, and in areas where these other political parties have strengths, and not just political parties now. There are so many groups coming out for different people. These groups will now stand behind our candidates and cover the holes that traditionally are supposed to be covered where candidates are not present. And remember, elections are all about structures of people. So these people will be the ones that will help us score the goal to win in this election.
Do you have a manifesto?
Yes, I do, which I sent to you last night.
No, I mean, has it been published?
Yes, it has been published since last month. I think we were one of the first to do that. Running for governor for me and for us and in our party wasn't a thing for fun or for name or whatever, but it's about issues. I've lived here long enough, I've engaged long enough at a community level, and we understand what the problems are and the solutions that our people need in the areas that will quickly take us out of suffering and hunger into prosperity, inclusive prosperity. So in our manifesto, we have 5 key areas that we believe when we move in haste, and again, haste is an acronym for the 5 areas that we're looking to transform Akwa Ibom State. H being healthcare, A being agriculture, S is science and technology, T is tourism, the creative and cultural industries put together, and E, education. We believe that when we look at these 5 areas, and again, within the 5 areas are low-hanging fruits that can be achieved in 100 days, we would be able to start moving our people to become not just relevant in Nigeria, in Akwa Ibom, but in Nigeria, Africa, and the world as a whole. Because again, today in this world, money is not chasing after natural resource anymore, but after human capital. So a knowledgeable workforce in Akwa Ibom, where we are supposed to be the tech capital of this country, we would be able to incubate and grow businesses that will take care of Akwa Ibom issues and Nigerian issues. And again, I tell you something very interesting. Nigeria spends $2 billion on health tourism. And in the $2 billion, 60% of the funds are spent in 4 areas, which has to do with cardiology, renal dialysis, cancer, which we can have specialist hospitals here to take advantage of this opportunity. And we'll be raking in, even if it's 2% of that, in dollars, a lot of money. In the educational sector, we spend $1 billion on foreign education. That means if we can put our 1,250 primary schools and our 250 secondary schools to meet global standards, we will now be like the Ghana people are going to.
Mr. Iboro Otu, let me quickly ask you this.
And these are the things we are looking
Now, let me ask you, Mr. Iboro Otu. Now, what's your antecedent, and why do you think the people should trust you with power?
Why shouldn't the people
What's your antecedent, and why should they trust you?
I've been around in this state. I remember like 10 years ago, it's been a while, where we started Alert Nigeria, where we looked at issues at community level and solved them at community level. I brought in all the major tertiary institutions in Akwa Ibom State, the director of entrepreneurial studies, to sit around and look at issues in communities. And I brought out this essay competition where students of Akwa Ibom indigenes would write about problems in their communities and the solutions, and we found them to carry these solutions out. And I know you're aware of the success that was scored in this engagement, and it's on the back of that we have the data to understand what the challenges are and what the solutions are. I grew up here. I've seen a lot of governments. I've participated at a very large, a very high level in knowing and understanding what the governance structure and strategy is in the state. And I know that it's not favorable to the people, but favorable to godfathers and people in government. So here, I'm telling Akwa Ibom people, look, it's not about me. It's about the fact that we've been doing things in a certain way for a very long time and it has not worked. It's time for us to do it differently. So if I don't work in the next 4 years, you can always go back to what you know, but it will be foolish to believe that something would be different when we keep on using same systems to bring out same leaders. So I believe personally I've scored great personal goals, but it's not about personality here. A state is not a business, but it's about people. So with what I have done in the state, I believe Akwa Ibom people will be confident enough to give me the opportunity to lead us to a new destination.
You know, when I ask you of your antecedent, I know there are persons out there are people out there, definitely who ask, what business or businesses or an enterprise you've been able to run successfully, whether private or public. Have you been a local government chairman before? Have you been a chairman of a flourishing company? That they can, this could easily be like your testimonial. So, this is the kind of thing that they would like to know.
Yeah, well, I have worked with so many great companies. I've founded a lot as well. Personally, I've won so many things. I believe I am trained in so many areas. I have a degree in physics. I have a degree in music engineering and production. I have so many other degrees. But the thing is, in the media industry, I've won. I don't know if there are many Nigerians that have worked in a project that has won a BAFTA, which I have done. And presently, in the company I'm working with, which is here in Nigeria, E-Force, in just one deal, we provided a Nigerian defense security system with over $2 billion of supply and support. And so these are big global companies, not just Nigerian companies. But then there are other big global brands I'm working with. Even presently, I'm doing great work with one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world in Turkey. So but why I don't really speak a lot about myself is because I know that presently in Akwa Ibom State we have leaders that have been the best in so many fields. Whether it's in banking, they've gone to the peak. They understand finance and they understand the world, but the services in the state is shit. The reason is that personal success has nothing to do with states and people's success. Why? Because in companies, you run companies to make profit. But in government, you run government to take care of people. So when these people come in, most of the times they believe in building infrastructure. But people, that's not what governance is about. Governance is about building people, so people in turn can build the infrastructure. Because it's the other way around. The success is in the number of people whose lives have been transformed. And why that happens is because most of the times the people that we bring in to lead, they're not ready from day one to lead. They probably came in because they knew someone that wanted to give them an appointment and whatever happened. But that's not the story here. I won't digress. The story here is that I have the understanding. I've lived here all my life. I understand the issues that we are talking about in this country, and I know how to solve the problems because I know the people, I have worked with the people, and I have identified talents in Akwa Ibom State and Akwa Ibom talents that are outside of Akwa Ibom State that can help us score the goal that we need. And the issue is simple: job, employment, gratuity and pension paying, great paying salaries for people, food security and all other security for our, that's the basis of what Akwa Ibom people need now. We have the resources in the state, we have the money to make it happen. Globally, we have people that I don't want to mention their names here, but I can tell you, big companies like Facebook, the vice president is from Akwa Ibom State. JP Morgan, the vice president is from Akwa Ibom State. Standard Chartered, the vice president is from Akwa Ibom State. In Tesla, you have senior directors from Akwa Ibom State. The second biggest security company in the world, the vice president is from Iboro Otu. And I can mention more. Which a serious government can sit on a table and in 1 month structure something that will position Akwa Ibom globally, not just in Nigeria. So I believe I'm ready. I believe what our people need is it's not someone with a deep pocket, but someone with a deep heart. And that is where the solutions will come from.
All right, let's go we have some projects in Akwa Ibom, like deep sea port, and we have the aviation. The state is doing pretty well. We have Ibome, we have MRO, and the rest of them. I mean, so like, what would you do? How would you actualize the vision for Ibom Deep Sea Port if you are elected the governor? What will you do with it?
Yes, these three great projects were projects started out by His Excellency Victor Atta. And I'm very happy that Gospel of Bible continued and Udom Emmanuel is on it. And by God's grace, in our government, we will take it higher. But for me, I had a conversation with His Excellency Victor Atta 2 months ago, and I told him, when I come into office, the project that I'll actually actualize quicker would be the Ibom Science Park because of where the world is positioned today. The world is moving into a sphere where tech is leading everywhere. And it is a low-hanging fruit because it only needs training of people, scaling of syllabuses, and connecting people to the ecosystem for great things to happen. And it's already happening here. I can mention a few names like Hanson Johnson, Marcus Hien, Edith Effiong, and a couple that are great people, even the young man working in Google. So that Akwa Ibom people can have access to jobs sitting here and providing services across the world. So the Ibom Science Park is one we would really prioritize because one, getting the paperwork done takes very little, and we already have the good footing to start. Now with the deep sea port, there's too much. You need licenses from the federal, but that's why it's been there for a while. But then let's assume the deep sea port is ready today. How do we get it to work? Remember, the businessmen that will be bringing businesses in, whether importing or exporting, we need roads, we need so much infrastructure. So there's a long road ahead. Of course, we'll continue with this project. For me, with the airline, I would privatize it immediately. Governments don't want airline because it's not a very profitable business. So the state could keep some shares, but really put it out there for credible companies that can run airlines to come in and take over, alongside a lot of other things that we have in mind to do. But for me, I believe in what is called opportunity cost. So how many people have employed acquired people as compared to the cost of running the airline? Would it make a lot of sense for us to take that investment and put it in the agri sector or the health sector or the educational sector and employ over 250,000 people? Of course it would. So that makes sense to privatize the airline, put the money where it's needed, plus other, great ideas we have in transforming Akwa Ibom State and creating jobs. For me, government has nothing to do with businesses, whether it's the needle factory, rice factory. The ideas are great, but they shouldn't be government projects. We should, as a government, be the middle people facilitating these projects or these businesses to grow. So what government should do with the money they have is to empower Akwa Ibom people to be able to own and run these businesses. So if our people can't have or don't have the capacity, we provide the education long term so that they can have the know-how.
Investigations, special reports, analysis, and breaking news. Premium Times, a leading multimedia news platform, brings to you every minute stories that helps you make informed decisions and hold public officials, individuals, and organizations accountable. We have cartoons, videos, podcasts, and other interesting content for your delight. For timely update on politics, entertainment, sport, and business, visit our website on www.premiumtimesng.com and follow us on all our social media platforms. Don't miss out.
Looking at, I know we have human resources. We have great people. You've mentioned some names. Akwa Ibom has great human resources, and but basically, there are persons who think that we also have a challenge in how to manage the human resources here. It's I don't know. It's a bit complicated. Sometimes the government has to look beyond Akwa Ibom, to get human resources. Even from unskilled to the skilled workers. So, what do you have to say about this?
If you look across the world, Akwa Ibom people are doing very well in several sectors. We can find our people in every sector. And like I said I wrote in my manifesto, 80% of people working in any company taking a job in Akwa Ibom State, 80% of staff, that the company itself must be owned by Akwa Ibom people. So they say, okay, Akwa Ibom people can't recruit, that's why they give it to Julius Berger. Or Akwa Ibom people are not great health people, that's why. All this nonsense talk. We have people, and I know that we have people in every sector. If in the deep sea port, for example, we don't have Akwa Ibom State people that can dominate that sector. Let's shut it down. Let's look at the sector where Akwa Ibom people are great at. We can plant.
Are you saying that because we don't have people, we should?
No, I'm just saying, for example, we should prioritize projects that prioritize Akwa Ibom people, period. If the deep sea port is a great business, which I believe it is, let the private sector come and take over it. We will share with them in shares, and then they take over it because it is going to be profitable. But for the government to take it and put government money in it, it doesn't make any sense. What the government should do is, look, you don't need to train an Akwa Ibom person cassava plantation or palm oil plantation or seafood. In fact, the problem between the EU and the UK is the fishing rights. That tells you how much power and how much economic resources in seafood. Israel, which has the same size of arable land as Akwa Ibom State, exports $3.5 billion of fruits. Why they can export $3.5 billion of fruits is because they use technology, and this technology is in the open market. In Akwa Ibom State, if you throw mango on the ground and travel to Abuja, in 2 months when you come back, the mango is growing. We have the same arable land as Israel. So why are we not making $3.5 billion? Priority. So if the government feels they will make 100 billion naira or $100 billion from the deep sea port when it's working, I can tell that same government that we can make 500 billion if we get our agri sector, our educational sector, and our health sector in shape. Why? Because Nigeria spends $10 billion on food importation every year. So if we look to take only 1% of that, that means we will get $1 billion. So what the government needs to do is to look at our business and say, look at the ecosystem. As it is presently, Akwa Ibom people go to rent even the boats. That is why seafood is more expensive in Uyo market than it is in Adamawa. Because we fish and the traders take it who are non Akwa Ibomites and ship it out. So we should empower Akwa Ibom people to own the ecosystem. That is more important to me than the bloody deep sea port. Yes, the deep sea port is a good business, but we should prioritize Akwa Ibom people and empower them. So that when they have the resources, they can now come together and say, you know what, let us do a deep sea port. We need it. We can now export seafood. This is how I see it. Low-hanging fruits. Get into the government. Make people get out of poverty. This poverty is the restiveness we have right now in Akwa Ibom State. 80% of it is caused by poverty. Lack of access to food. Lack of access to jobs. People are restless, and an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So for me and my government, it's about low-hanging fruits and people, period. If it does not benefit an Akwa Ibom person, 80%, I will never do the project. Let the investors that believe it's a good project come and do it.
Okay. Mr. Iboro Otu, INEC just, I think recently released 2 days ago or so, yesterday, released this stuff. I think that's the final list of candidates for the governorship and other positions, like in the House of Reps in Akwa Ibom, and your name came out, that of your running mate. But unfortunately, APC candidates, the name didn't come out. So what this is like an opportunity for you. Does this look good for you?
No, it doesn't.
And your party?
I think beyond myself, I think it's not good for democracy. I think it has to be fair. I think the candidate for the APC is Victor Antai Akanogofia. They have to come out first, then I'll think about how to win them. Why? Because I don't believe in the politics that I used to see in the olden days, where the people put this strategy of wickedness, of excluding, other people from the race, or doing all sorts of stuff. For me, I think that where we are, and I took that from my presidential candidate, Showre, when he met Al-Hamzat, Abacha's Mustafa, in Abuja. And he told him, of course, you and Abacha were killing people and you didn't allow democracy in this country. And today you are running for president. So we are happy, I'm very happy he's running for president, but he should also see and recognize that the evils that he did and where it's brought Nigeria to. So for me, I'm not saying that Kadhafi, for example, is comparable to Mustafa or is an unkind person. No, not in any chance. But I believe that the APC and everybody else should have an opportunity to have candidates in this. And INEC knows best what to do. I think the case is in court. I hope he wins, and I hope to see him in the field.
Okay, so your running mate is a Nollywood actress.
Yes.
People haven't been seeing her much around. So where is she?
She's around, and although
where is she
she's
right
in
now?
Lagos.
Oh, she's in Lagos, right?
Yes. She normally comes in. She's been coming in and out. Our campaign starts in a couple of days from now. We'll be seeing more of her. She's an amazing lady. She's done very well for herself
And what's her
for the
name?
country. Her name is Caroline Udwaba-Basi Danjuma, and she's an amazing lady. She's supported women a lot through her NGO, supporting women in the
Yeah, but sorry to cut you here. Other parties have been going around. Though the campaign is yet to start, but you see other parties going around, Thanksgiving, consultation. We see more of them, crowd, town hall meetings and all that. But here you are, your running mate, she's in Lagos. What's she doing when she ought to be in New York?
She is going to be in New York. I am the candidate. She's the running mate, like I said. The priority is myself, and I'm doing what I ought to do. But sometimes, the media is very expensive, and we might not have that kind of money. The visibility might not be as how people want to see it in the media. But the election is not in the media. It's on ground, and we are doing the work. But then it doesn't mean we are not going to. That's why we are using this opportunity to call to Akwa Ibomites and Nigerians here in Nigeria, Akwa Ibomites in Nigeria and in the diaspora, on the strength of our proposition to come forward and work with us, support our campaign, and make sure that this time around we can score a very resounding win.
Well, last did she come into you?
3 months ago.
3 months ago. Isn't that too?
Like I said, campaigns have not started. It's starting.
Yeah, but she needs to connect with the people.
She has been. We do a lot of interviews. We have been doing a lot across Akwa Ibom State. We have phone calls and videos. The Akwa Ibom people have felt our presence a lot, and the physical presence is what we are going to start doing. Remember, it's 4 months between now and election day, so we have more than enough time.
Now, so how about she's from Nollywood? She's from that sector. Is that going to fetch her
Yes,
some goodwill?
Yes, and this is what she asked. I know. Remember last time we were on ABN Network here in Europe, and she asked, would people be more comfortable if she was a doctor or an engineer? Acting is a profession, and she's doing really well. But unfortunately, acting is what she does for fun. She's actually a real estate developer and oil and gas expert, and she's doing really well in her company. If you go on her Instagram page, you see a building she's putting on sale, and it's over $150 million. She's done really well in this area. Remember, she's married to an oil and gas expert. So, but unfortunately, because she's pretty and because she's into acting, people tend to misjudge. But having said that, on the strength of, she has. I'm yet to see any lady. I'm not saying Akwa Ibom ladies are not doing really well in education. We are very great at that. But this lady has got 3 degrees, 3 master's degrees. I'm yet to see another woman from Akwa Ibom. When I was going through the list, I didn't go through the list.
Okay, so for the sake of time,
all right.
I have just one question for you.
Okay.
Election requires a huge sum of money. Where are you going to get the money from?
I'm very happy you're giving me this platform, and I'm very happy that you're asking the question. To be honest, election is about people. We are doing it. We have always been doing it this way, but Peter B has come to explode it. We are calling on to Nigerians to support our campaign. To be honest, without that, we can't win. So, we Akwa Ibom people, seeing the strength of our engagement and the little we're putting in the game, I believe that the Akwa Ibom people will support us and come out and support our campaign and vote for us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Iboro Otu, governorship candidate of African Action Congress.
That is correct.
Akwa Ibom State. It's been nice having you.
The pleasure is mine.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.